I am Toon Weyens, based out of Holland, working for Anomalo. I used to be a computational physicist doing high-performance computing, but about 10 years ago I switched to data science. And I'm joined here by Nigel, right here, from BP, who is currently leading a data transition with respect to governance across multiple business units, so a lot of coordination happening there. He has over 2 decades of experience in the data governance space, so a pretty well-rounded leader in that space. We also have Jaspal from Kingfisher, who is the lead data quality analyst, and he'll be talking about his experiences trying to improve with measurable improvements data quality across Kingfisher. I'm going to ask the gentlemen some questions about their experiences, but just to quickly level set, 2 slides about Anomalo, why we are partnering with BP and Kingfisher. So we are a best-in-class, state-of-the-art data quality platform. And we say that with our tools, you can do data quality without compromise. What does that mean? I would say it's basically 4 different things which are of relevance. First of all, we have been pioneering the automation of data quality using machine learning for almost a decade now. So we're machine learning or AI based from the get-go. And we strongly believe that's the only way in which you can get data quality scaled across your organization, right? Automation, machine learning, AI. Second of all, though we are small, we are used by many large, very large companies, enterprises. That's because we understand how enterprise works. We understand our little part in the overall tech stack, and within the typical operations and processes, procedures that enterprise have. So we understand our role, and we make a big effort at making our tool very integratable. The third thing I'd like to mention is that though we started in our inception monitoring cloud data warehouses containing structured data, we have since then also expanded into other data types like text, very important if you want to train your own large language models, or if you want to use these for your chatbots and your Gen AI use cases, and also many more different data sources, not just cloud, but also more like, let's say, traditional warehouses like, IBM systems, etc. And then fourthly, this is a very important one, security. Data is the most important commodity that companies currently have, right? So you have to be very secure with your data. And one of the examples in which we are, I think, seen as a leader there is that the whole system which we provide can actually be installed with a few clicks in your own VPC. And this means that no data actually leaves your system, which is, of course, maximally secure. We even have some air-gapped environments which we operate in. But I think that's enough about us. I'd like to hand the word to Jaspal from Kingfisher. So Jaspal, I know from our... Come over here, please. I know from our experiences with you guys that you're a modern retailer. So for you guys, data quality is very important. I also know the team you lead is high in expertise, but maybe not the biggest, as is usual, right? Do you mind talking to us a little bit about your experiences, getting more out of yourselves, and being able to scale across multiple business units, and how maybe Anomalo helps you that?
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah. For those of you who don't know who Kingfisher are, we are a home improvement company, and we operate across the UK and Europe. So we've got a number of household names under our kind of that we look after. We've got B&Q, Screwfix for those of you in the UK, and then for those on the continent, we've got Castorama and Brico Depot. So kind of why do we need data quality? So about 3 years ago, our data platform was born to support our AI use cases. And kind of one of those use cases is a product recommendations engine on our B&Q website that customers find really useful. And another one of those use cases was kind of a single view of our end-to-end supply chain to help us improve our inventory management. Following the success of those 2 projects and many others like it, our platform rapidly grew. But that rapid growth didn't come without its challenges. So we, at the start, encountered near daily pipeline issues, which affected how quickly and how complete that data was delivered to our customers, which had a number of impacts. So for our developers, we had kind of reduced capacity for them to actually develop anything strategic, as all of their time was spent on reactive issues. For our business stakeholders, they were often making decisions based off incomplete or late data, which was suboptimal. And then really crucially for our customers downstream, they were the ones telling us about their data quality issues, which from a platform perspective is a real kind of source of eroding trust and something that we really wanted to mitigate and get a control of. So Born was our commitment to delivering quality outputs that were sustainable and that met the needs of our customers, with the key belief that if we're not going to deliver something that's reusable then, and kind of useful for our customers, then what's the point in delivering it? So why did we choose Anomalo, and what of their kind of particular features were key to us adding value to our platform? So from the near daily pipeline incidents that I mentioned, Anomalo is really good at measuring or alerting us where data freshness or the data volume has dropped. And if you have 2 whole people in your data quality team, then you have more than us. So we needed something that was really quick to plug and play. So we needed something that was low maintenance, low configuration effort, and Anomalo is really good at that. So for me, it really helps to accelerate the value that we can add to the platform. And then similarly, the out-of-the-box checks that Anomalo has is really good at highlighting the unknown issues, and they're a really key, I find, kind of from personal experience, can be a really key source of distrust if when you're speaking to your customers. If they know more about your issues than you, then there's often like finger pointing and things like that. So it's really good at supporting with that. And then we know as we mature as a team, that often the tailored data quality checks are the ones that can be the most impactful, because they highlight and monitor those specific scenarios that actually matter to the business, and the custom checks feature is really good for that. So what's our implementation looks like? So Q1 was all around centered around technical configuration of the tool. We've configured our alert channels in line with our communication strategy. And we've also prioritized all the tables within our data platform to monitor. And then within Q2, that enabled us to undertake a mass configuration exercise. So we're now monitoring over 500 objects with Anomalo, which is really, really cool for a team of 1.5 people. And to support that, we've got a data quality framework that has been rolled out to the engineering teams as well. And then within this third quarter, we've begun collecting the requirements for custom checks, and we want to do that at scale. And that's an ongoing activity, but one, as I mentioned, that's really key for highlighting key issues to our stakeholders. And there are a number of integrations that we're trying to put in place now. Again, so our support teams use ServiceNow. So it's really cool that Anomalo can integrate with ServiceNow to provide a single queue for them to work from, and allows for us to track and manage those incidents really well. We'll have some tailored reporting capabilities through Power BI. Yeah. And I really quickly just wanted to flash up a data observability example of where it actually shows us what the issue is. So along the x-axis, we have the date from which the data is received from the source system, and along the y, we have the associated row count with those. So typically for this date in question, we'd have expected between 15 to 20,000 rows each on that date. But you can see that we've had 0, which is an issue and one that we had to go and resolve. And then wanted to flash up a custom check example. So the table that this check is on is our fact till basket item table, which essentially just pulls through all of the products that we've sold through our basket or through our tills. And the check in place is to make sure that those products actually exist within our product dimension table. And you can see from the graph on the right-hand side that that wasn't always the case. And what's really cool is that you can use, I won't go into this now, but you can kind of use the UI to drill into this, find the product IDs that are failing that check, and find any commonalities between those. So Anomalo is really good at helping with the root cause analysis part of this. And then in terms of where we're looking to kind of take this within the near future, I mentioned the need to expand our reporting capabilities. We're looking to embed our framework, the Anomalo framework, within our testing strategy as well. So it's not just kind of at the point where data has already been released to our consumers, but also during that point of development. We're looking to manage alert fatigue. So we know that that's like a continual risk. So it means that whenever we're configuring new objects, that we're making sure that they are flashing genuine alerts rather than just absolutely destroying the ears of our stakeholders. And we want to continue adding custom checks as well, just all kind of BAU pieces of work here. And then kind of finally, just to close, we're looking to initiate a source system working group so that these sorts of issues that we're flagging actually get resolved at source. And that, yeah, we're all working from kind of the same page. And that's it from me.
Cool. Thanks, Jaspal. I hope this was interesting for you all. What I took away is basically small team, but big needs, right? So being able to leverage automation on the one hand, but also an easy interface for experts to encode their domain knowledge in the form of rules. That's really, I think, what we help. I'm very happy to work with you guys. Next up, Nigel BP. Nigel, could you talk to us a little about your challenges? So for those of you who don't know, BP, very massive company.
Yep.
Nigel's been working on a transition to more data governance across multiple business units. I can imagine you have issues with coordination and cooperation between different business units. I would love to know more about it.
Yeah, thank you, Toon. Part of our challenge is we're trying to instill data governance and data quality across lots of different organizations across the globe. And we've got a journey to go on because data quality tends to be something that's technical depth people don't do or don't get round to. So we want to find the reason we went on this journey is we wanted to find a tool that can enable teams to really get to grips with data quality that works for them. So one of the key things we were looking for in a tool is a sort of low no-code interface. We want to get our business users closer to data quality. If you speak to a data engineer about what's wrong with a data set, well, the pipelines run, what you're talking about. Often, the issue is something that's more nuanced than that, something that someone with the business context understands, the business process understands. But you end up this issue where, with some of our sort of more traditional tools, where I've got to then go and explain that requirement to engineer, that engineer's got to implement the data quality check, then they've got to validate the data quality check is the right thing, and a lot of back and forth, and that creates a lot of friction and a lot of challenge to get those sorts of things implemented. So we wanted a tool where actually we could start exposing this to business users and go, actually, I can implement that check myself and get a handle of it. So it's really about changing that paradigm about data quality and bringing both business and sort of technology data teams closer together. I was down in Australia recently, working one of the teams down there. The biggest problem, they said they had was, we found out our data's wrong when later in the week, one of the execs looks at one of our key dashboards and goes, this data's crap, what's going on here? And, egg on face moment, let me get back to you. And we want to have a tool that enables that proactive checking of data. And again, one of the great features of Anomalo is that kind of anomaly detection, looking for data that is an outlier, is above or below that target. So all of a sudden we can change that conversation, and those teams can be proactive about what's going on with their data and go, okay, I'm going to check these 2-3 key metrics that are really important to my business, and I've got more confidence, and I don't have that egg on face moment with the business leaders because I know there's something wrong, and I can go, don't look at the report today, there's an issue, we're sorting it out, all good. Again, it's all about that, creating that trust in data, so really important. Trying to roll out data quality in an organisation like BP is not trivial. It's a huge organisation, lots of different teams, global in nature. So, a few of the challenges, we've got what I'd say is a low maturity when it comes to data quality. It's either not been done or it's been done in a very ad hoc method. So a lot of what we're doing at the moment is around educating people about data quality. What are your critical data elements? When you're doing a data quality check, at first you might go, well, you just check this, and then you got the answer. But actually, you often find there's business conditions, business logic. Oh yeah, but on these, that doesn't apply for this part of the business or for this particular process. So it's trying to educate people and take people on that journey to get towards some level of maturity around data quality. Again, it's that focus on what's critical and what's important. Again, I think with any data quality tool, there's a great danger of alert fatigue, putting checks here, there, and everywhere, getting notifications left, right, and center. You end up with too much noise. So how do you optimize around that to get effective alerts to the right people, to the right teams? One of the conversations that always comes up when we engage with teams is, oh, well, we need to do the data quality at source. Where we put it into Salesforce or SAP, but generally that's not always immediately possible. And often data quality issues can happen down the line, especially in a company like BP. We've got multiple systems coming in from different countries, you're combining all that data. So we always say to people, yes, it would be better if you could fix it at source, put some validations at source, but that's not always practical or possible. So next best thing at the moment is to observe later down the line in your data lake where you've consolidated that data and then use that as a proxy to fix the data. Final point I want to make is we're on this data governance journey. Yes, we're doing data quality, but that's one part of it. We're also looking at data ownership and accountability, because ultimately, if the right people aren't talking about the data, you're not really going to get the right outcome and go, well, yeah, the data's bad. Well, who's going to fix it? I don't know. It's not my problem. So again, it's trying to get the right accountability of that data is really important, and putting in the right forums, the right processes to triage data quality issues, to escalate things that are not easily fixable, because you might find actually to fix this requires several teams to fix their processes. We're on this big journey where we're identifying some of these bigger problems, but actually using data quality to monitor what's going on and show some of those improvements as we progress on our data maturity journey. So, back over to you.
Yeah. Cheers, Nigel. Thanks. This was definitely interesting for everybody. So thanks for both of you. So I also asked them what would they, offer as learnings, and rather than having them basically say the same thing twice, we decided to present them here in one slide. So just let me quickly go through them one by one. Implement early if you can. The best time for data quality is when you don't yet have the data, right? So just right from the start, you're doing a migration to a new cloud system, you're getting a new data source online. Do the data quality at that very moment. That's the best time. Nigel talked about how you can bring your colleagues along for the ride, how you can, have different teams work together. Business people know about their data. They might not know about SQL. Technical people know about SQL, but might not know about the data. Right, so bring them together. That's the best way to really get comprehensive data quality coverage as part of governance. The integration with existing tech and processes was also mentioned a little bit, right? Having integrations with ServiceNow, making the processes, not changing the processes which already exist too much, just having better information about data quality, integrating within the stack. That's crucial. I think interesting to say, pick a tool appropriate for the size of your team. So Jaspal mentioned his 1.5 person team currently, and Nigel mentioned a massive team, right? So I hope that's a proof point for us, but make up your own mind. And then finally, of course, demonstration of early value. I think this one hits on a pretty deep point where we've been doing data quality for 30 years, always rules-based, very hard to scale, very hard to maintain. It's painful. Right, so people might be demotivated from the start, say, this will never really work. It might just work, with the right tool and the right approach, the right people. So demonstrating early value is super important. We do actually have 2 minutes. Do you mind if we take a question? Yeah. So if anybody has a question, I'm not sure if we are set up for questions, dear staff. We were not going to take questions, but we can take one. Yeah, anybody?
This one's for Nigel. You mentioned about the fact that you couldn't fix some of the DQ issues at source, so I was just quite interested kind of how you work around that. So how do you address the DQ issues if you can't do it at source, and where do you do that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a couple of examples. So often, like, for example, say the issue is in our sort of SAP estate, and putting a validation in our SAP code isn't immediately practical. Some of that is about actually going, okay, this is the problem that's happening, and therefore the best approach at this point is to sort out the process. So, for example, duplicate customers. We get duplicate customers, we can identify those with Anomalo and go, okay, we've got duplicates here. And yes, it'd be better if there was a fix at the source that prevented that from happening in the first place. Through Anomalo, we were able to, make that visible to the teams that matter, but also we can work with them in terms of actually, can we change the process so that that doesn't actually happen? So that's my answer to that question.
Yeah. We have actually 10 minutes, so we can take some more questions. Maybe one thing that I would like to add to this answer is the art of finding the signal of things that go wrong at the source and finding the signal of that going wrong later downstream. For example, missing segments were caused at the source, but you only find out later down the line. So being able to automatically, profile the data and see which segments are missing, that's also an example. Yes? You want to come on stage?
Hey, so how do you look at, say, data quality control and testing before observability? And does the tool support that?
Is your question for Nigel or for Jaspal? Or anybody care to?
Well, yeah, go on, Jaspal, you.
So about controls and testing before observability. So for us, we're primarily focusing our checks on data after it's landed, like in our platform. So at the minute, that's where we're focusing our checks. So it kind of flows as observability and then controls for us, if that makes sense. It might be different at BP though.
Yeah, I think we're observability. We're in a various sort of data platforms. That's where the pipeline observability is happening. We're using other tools and capabilities for that. We're more focused on using Anomalo for those kind of more business-facing conversations around the quality of the data. Did that answer your question?
Hi, I have a question to Jaspal. So basically, you are running this data quality, and then you show the various stages that you brought in. So the maturity model is very much another market standard. So, but my question is like, so it's always a challenge that you bring a lot of data to the platform. So your ETL jobs needs to run. So, and the time consumption of the data quality job. So that is always a question that how we compromise that, or are you plan a different set of schedules to run all the data quality on behind of that?
Got you. Okay, so these checks run independently. Oh yeah, I'll try and find a space in the middle there. These checks run independently of those ETL processes, so it's not going to impact any of those processing times. It's really good in that aspect, yeah.
Hi. What was the sweet spot for you between anomaly detection and deterministic rules? Or where did you find you needed to balance?
Yeah, no, really, really good question. I think do you want to take it?
No, you go for it.
No, okay, cool. For us, it's like we're a really small team, right? So I think to get up and running and to start having those conversations with the team about what their issues are, that anomaly detection, that automated piece is really, really key for that, because that starts that engagement. And thereafter, people become more interested and they want to know more about how to fix their issues. So I'd say it's kind of the gateway, and then after that point, you're in, and then you want those tailored rules, which I think they're your high impact tests.
I'd say that the out of the box checks almost like table stakes to say, hey, we've at least got some knowledge that our data's working on a daily basis, and Anomalo is going to throw up an alert if something major goes wrong. So it's nice just to have that comfort level, if you like, around your key data pipelines or your critical data assets.
Right. Once the data is landed, what kind of checks are you applying? We know that there are some, normal checks like nullness and uniqueness, but there are people are more interested, or business are more interested into their data, basically the business context data. So, how do you apply those checks? Do we have got easy way in Anomalo to just, write the SQLs and, have those checks? And then how you basically, categorize these into different DQ dimensions that we have, got completeness, you got consistencies, validity. So do you also measure those metrics along with your tests that you apply on?
Yeah, yeah. So Anomalo's it's got that covered because it's got a load of out-of-the-box checks. So any kind of different kind of data quality check that you want to run, you can run it. So the example I gave was a consistency check, but there's uniqueness, there's format checks, pattern checks. There's honestly a list too big to go through. I'd say go over to the booth after, and they've got a bunch there. But you can categorize those and attribute them to the data quality dimension that they're relevant to. So from your organization perspective, it's really good for reporting in that sense. It sets it up really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that we've got some checks we've got are quite basic, just null, is it null kind of checks. One of the features we're using or trying to start using, which came in the middle of this year, is the Anomalo views. So when our team started using it at the beginning of this year, they were kind of doing lots of SQL to kind of shrink the data sets of kind of what they want to do the check on. And then having to do that each time for each check. But actually, Anomalo, you've got this views feature where you can basically say, actually, I just want to focus on Germany data and this customer category, and then create that view in Anomalo and then do the DQ checks on that view specific to that particular business case. So when the journey of sort of trying to recalibrate some of our checks to work on that basis. But yeah, like Jaspal said, there's a whole variety of different checks and custom SQL where needed.
Yeah, and I think to add to this as well, you brought up alert fatigue, right, Nigel?
Yes.
It's super important to not cause alert fatigue. So a little bit of thought has to go into designing this, but it's always better to rely on a tool which actually takes this into account from the very get-go. But yeah. Any more questions from the audience? Yes? Then we're almost out of time, so.
Yeah, with respect to data quality, so if there are multiple attributes associated with a record and there are some data quality issues that are tolerable, let's say, and some that are not tolerable, how are these handled at different stages? And how do you in a way sometimes fix some of the data quality issues that are tolerable and remove the others? How do you handle that?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's ultimately a business priority. So again, I'd say we've focused on a couple of the key critical data elements first. And I think when we've got those to a point where the business are happy with them, then they can go to their next priority. Because, like I say, you could go, let's put checks across every 20 attributes, but that's a lot of creates a lot of noise effectively. So I'd advise against that.
I'd say as well, the checks that you can put in place, you can change the priority of them. So the higher priority ones, you can choose to get you to ping you every single time it fails. But for those you're less bothered about, you can change it to low priority, and it's kind of like a silent alert. So it will appear on the UI for the tool, but it won't ping you to your alert channel. So it's a kind of nice distinguishing feature.
And soon we'll have more exciting features coming out, giving you basically updates about your data, which might not necessarily be data quality issues, but just, hey, did you know this changed? And just consume this like a digest as well. But thanks.
Got one more question?
Oh, one more.
Sorry, it'll be a quick one. I know you have AI capabilities. So if we have a bad data already and we are in the journey of correcting the data quality, is there a possibility to unlearn? Anomalo has got unlearn and relearn.
Should I take this one? Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is
Yes, there
product.
is. There is, yeah. And the whole thing about automation is that this will be automatic. Relearning and unlearning as part of relearning is automatic. We can talk about details later, but yes, very important. I think we're out of time, right? So if you have more questions for Nigel and Jaspal,
You got a couple of minutes if you want.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Okay, well, still, yeah. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead,
Hi,
Nigel.
sorry, one more question. In terms of your data structure, have you optimized based on volume or features, or what have you found more useful in terms of how you use Anomalo?
For us, to begin with, because the major use case for Anomalo for us was the pipeline incidents, the observability features have been really good for us, and they're really low config effort from the start. So all we have to do is kind of just press, monitor that for us, please. And it will learn what kind of time you expect that data to arrive. It will learn in what volume you expect that data to arrive. We don't have to input any of that information. So for us, that's been our big win.
Okay, I'll say it again. If you guys are interested in a discussion with these gentlemen or with myself, we're to be found at booth J41. It's just this way, about like half a venue distance away. Yeah, I hope this was useful. I think it was very exciting to hear about people using this in the field, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks guys for your.